everybody. First off, I just want to say, everyone in Florida, please be safe and take care of yourself. Pretty scary stuff, especially, if anybody got the chance to watch 5 Days at Memorial on Apple TV. A hurricane is not something to take lightly. So please, everyone, be safe and careful. And I hope that you are, it looks like it might be like 24 to 48 hours. So I hope that you have as good a time as possible. Also, I'm curious, did anybody watch Andor yet today? It's very unusual. It's really weird for me not to be covering the show anymore. Hey, Disaster Danny. Michael watched it. Interesting. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Eric. So some of you watched it, but it's a smaller group and you're certainly not in a rush to watch it. It's a fine episode, but I don't think it's particularly exciting. That's another one of the reasons I didn't cover it. I appreciate that, Stephen, but hey, Charles, for a really hot show, I'd make the time. But Andor, it takes so long to do these the coverage that that's how little the rate of return was on Andor. Let's see. Disaster Danny says, "Hey Grace, use my birthday money to join chat for the first time." Oh, happy birthday, Danny! I'm so happy you used some of your birthday money on joining BTT. You guys, you're the best. You're the absolute best. So anyway, Andor just was that low. Oh, look, 80s model gifted some memberships. That's so sweet of you. Hey, Starry. But yeah, it was, it's I would say that Andor, in my opinion, performs more like a Star Wars animated series, which means it certainly delights the hardcore fandom, but I think it has very little crossover appeal beyond that fandom, which is what you need to really have something be a huge hit. That works fine for animation because animation is, not as expensive as live action, but well, Danny's saying it wasn't expensive to make. It was pretty expensive, especially with all those real locations. We'll see what happens. Sorry, my thumb's distracting me a little bit. I burned my thumb the other day, as you know, last week. Last Wednesday, in fact. And it's getting better, but it still has I don't have total feeling in the thumb. It's weird. It's like, when you have a thumb protector to go through pages, like a little rubber thing. That's what it feels like. And so it distracts me. All right, so don't burn yourself. It's a serious thing. I'm very lucky that it wasn't actually that bad, but yikes. All right, so let's talk about today's 3 stories. And then, as always, you can ask me anything you'd like for the final 10 minutes of the stream. All right, so story number 1. TJ Williams, I burned them on a heating hair tool. I dropped it and I grabbed it by the wrong part. It was really bad. It hurt so bad for 2 hours. All right, so that's right, Danny. That's right, it's a birthday boop. Here we go. Boop. All right, so as it was announced late yesterday, some people said they felt that the Ryan Reynolds announcement came because it was supposed to be a distraction from the Blade news. I don't think that's the case at all. Hey, Nestor, thank you for joining. I heard that the reason it took a little bit of time and why they didn't announce the Deadpool 3 news at D23 was that they were still working out Hugh Jackman's payday. Because, understandably, he wanted to get paid. Because, it's not only for Deadpool 3, but apparently also a little Secret Wars action there, too, as we all suspect. So, I think it's more than Marvel's probably used to paying, these days. So, but I think Hugh Jackman is worth every penny, especially because he said he retired. He said he was done with Logan. So to get him to come out of retirement, that's right, Brett. It's a little like Tobey Maguire saying, pay me. But, I think that also points out that Hugh Jackman's involvement is a lot bigger because, they couldn't move forward without that deal in place. Whereas they played chicken. Also, it's a different studio. Sony decided to play chicken with Tobey Maguire. And Tobey Maguire was like, I don't care if I'm not in this movie. You're gonna have to give me my monies. So yeah, so I think these actors, by the way, totally worth every penny. especially because Hugh Jackman is going to have to, this got into a Deadpool 3 discussion. We'll get to Blade in just a moment. But Hugh Jackman has to totally physically transform himself, and he had felt that he couldn't do it anymore as he got older. So he has to, like, you can see, like, I saw him live for Music Man, and he looks very different. You know, he's like reed thin. He's still very athletic because he can do that kind of a performance, but he is not Wolverine shape. It's going to be an incredible amount of work for him to do that. So, but I'm excited. I hope he doesn't hurt himself. Music Man was amazing. I had incredible seats. I was looking right at Hugh Jackman's face. It was fantastic. I was like, I think I was actually in the front row. I had not anticipated I would be in the front row because I thought there would be like 1 or 2 rows in front of me, but they built the stage out, so I was right in the front row. And I was looking right up at Hugh Jackman, and he's incredible. What a performer. What a performer. He is just, I have such admiration for him. And that's right, Danny. I did do a really great interview with Hugh Jackman as well. It was really fun with X-Men. It was Hugh Jackman, James McAvoy, and Michael Fassbender. That was a good time. That was the hoot. All right, so Blade. Yes, Blade is another movie that Marvel is making, but it's taking forever. Oh my God. It was supposed to go into production in November, as you've seen, I'm sure, a couple of places because they were getting all ready to film. And they have the whole cast set. But apparently it's a real turkey. So yesterday they announced that they parted ways with Bassam Tariq, and now they're looking for a new director. Now there was some news that came out yesterday. Most of it I think is correct. I heard a little bit from myself from behind the scenes, so I'm going to kind of give you just like a picture of what's happening. So I did, in my just watched reaction to Werewolf by Night, I said, man, what a missed opportunity that, Blade didn't show up as an end credit scene in that show. I mean, that would have just really made that special. That would have put that special on the map. And I heard from one of my sources, but, take this with a grain of salt. I would say, though, that apparently the word around Tinseltown is that that's right, the Kit Harington Curse Lives 80s model. That would be hilarious if it was all due to Kit Harington. I'd be like, why don't we try taking Kit Harington out of this movie and seeing if all of our problems miraculously go away? That's so funny. Not for Kit Harington, but it's pretty funny for the rest of us. I heard Mahershala Ali wasn't available to do a little bit for Werewolf by Night, which, again, is a real shame. But he wasn't available. Mahershala Ali's got stuff to do, man. He is a double Oscar-winning actor. He's very busy. And I think that's also part of the problem, and that nobody's really in charge of this film. Kevin Feige's busy. Mahershala Ali is busy. And apparently, they didn't, Bassam Tariq was supposed to be in charge, but I heard that the reason that he was let go was that Mahershala Ali did not like his ideas for how to fix the script. So they need someone else. As I've told you before, it's a flashback movie. A little bit more information is that it covers like Blade's 100 years on Earth, which I think is pretty freaking cool. And he's going to train a child. And of course, it's a young girl. And it's either his child, Dracula's child, or just some vampire child. But I don't know. I mean, I like Mahershala Ali. I think he's great casting as Blade. I think showing Blade throughout the decades is awesome. Is Loki season 2 going to get there first at this point? Yes, it is. But I'm still interested in it. So, there's a rumor going around that the script is only 90 pages long. That would be ridiculous. I couldn't believe anyone would even turn a 90-page script in, to be honest with you. Because it's a page a minute, basically, is the rule. But even less if you're, I guess it's a little bit more if it's, because action sequences, take longer than it is to describe them. But for anyone to hand in a 90-page script professionally, I mean, I just would look, I heard they're looking for another writer. I would be like, I don't even know what to say to this. I'm surprised that you would give this to me at only 90 pages. So I heard this morning, as I tweeted, that some of the directors they've been talking to are Mr. Spike Lee, which I think would be incredible. Certainly give a lot of gravitas, although I'd be like, you're not going to Sam Raimi Spike Lee, are you? But Spike Lee. Gina Prince Bythewood, who just did The Woman King. So, and she also did Old Guard, which I thought wasn't quite as good. But Woman King was incredibly well directed. I would feel quite good about Gina Prince Bythewood. Fala and Arby from Ms. Marvel and also Batgirl. I'm glad that, they're still in the mix and that Kevin Feige is trying to help them. But I wouldn't go with them. I think that right now, with all due respect, I love that they're fans, but I just feel like I don't think they're a great choice. I mean, Blade is not coming from a position of strength right now. It needs a director to fix the problems rather than get on this sinking ship. Whelm says, is the page a minute the rule for script writing? I always wonder how they determined if a script was long enough. Yes, it is. It's a page a minute. But as I said, usually if you have a lot of action sequences, your script can be a little shorter. But 90 pages? This is ridiculous. All right. I don't even know what to say to a 90-page script. Really, I honestly don't know what to say to it. It's so unusual and really half-assed. All right. Also, when I tweeted out who some of the directors were that I thought were a good choice, hey, D, somebody said, what about Shaka King? And I was like, that's who they should hire. He did Judas and the Black Messiah. That was a fantastic film. It had just the right gritty tone, and it had a good historical aspect to it because it was based on a true story. But it also had some good thrilling sequences. And I'm like, that's the guy. 100% that's who should be hired. I certainly wouldn't be upset with any of these other choices, but he would be a phenomenal choice. I see a lot of people throwing out Jordan Peele's name, and Jordan Peele has been very, very adamant that he doesn't want to do a franchise. But after Nope seriously underperformed at the box office, perhaps he could be persuaded. I'd love to have Jordan Peele as well. I think Jordan Peele would be a great choice. Mika, I don't like Del Toro. I think Del Toro, he did the first Blade. I think this is trying to be its own thing, although I would like to see Wesley Snipes have a role in it, to be honest with you. I want a really strong director who is just going to direct the heck out of this movie and can do good, strong action sequences. Thanks, Merv. That's so sweet of you. Nice silver badge you've got there. I don't know. This thing's really a mess. It's really shocking that Blade would be in such bad shape considering how hot a property it is and that Mahershala Ali worked so hard to get it. So let's see if they can fix it. But I think that it's so far along right now that it's very hard to fix something at this stage. It can be done if you just totally get rid of people, which it looks like they're doing. But what are they going to do about these cast members? I would think that a script that would be redone would maybe have new cast members and lose some cast members. So let's see what they're going to do. I'm glad Mahershala Ali stood up and was like, this is crap. I don't want to do it. So I'm glad. I'm glad about that. I'm glad that, but I think Mahershala Ali is going to have to be a little bit more, oh, Josh, that's very kind of you to gift a membership. I think Mahershala Ali is going to have to be more involved because clearly Kevin Feige's not overseeing. I don't know. I think that's such a serious thing. Somebody put out that Kevin Feige was spread too thin. I don't feel comfortable making that comment. I feel like Kevin Feige has really proven himself. I think that yes, he's probably is a little bit overextended, but I'm sure that he's paying attention to this. I just think it's a tough property. I think expanding into horror, as you'll see when you watch Werewolf by Night, is very difficult to do. I think it's probably going to be the hardest expansion that Marvel has had to do yet. And it's just a difficult thing to get right, I feel. I think because it's, as Marco said, I think it's just not totally a fit with everything else. And so, and also there's so much riding on it. They'll just be raked across the coals if they get it wrong, especially after they did just such a good job with Black Panther. All right, so that's the first story of the day. So that's Chad says, can they get Wesley Snipes and any of the old creative team in to help? Well, as I just said, I think they feel like they'd like it to be its own thing. So, I don't see that. I appreciate you recommending Misha Green, D, but I felt like that series really fell apart after the first episode, and so that would make me a little bit nervous. I think you need a really steady hand at this point. Because again, the thing is so troubled. All right, so that's the first story of the day. The second story of the day, boop. This is like a day of crazy stories. All right, so take everything today with some salt. Steven Turner says MCU needs to stop dating stuff before they have a good script. Like with Thor 4, you just let them film a bunch. They didn't use. What a waste of money. I agree. I think all of Hollywood really should have these scripts nailed down before they pick release dates. I think that it's the cart driving the horse. And I think that it's really, really important to have a really strong script before before you make these things official. Writer Boy says, oh my God, so happy I caught Alive. So how would you like the Blade film to go? What would you want to see? I'm glad you caught Alive too. We're still on the first story, so hold on. I love the 100-year span. I think that's phenomenal. I think that's very exciting. I think Blade needs to look cool and Blade needs to have cool action sequences. And Dracula needs to be really well done if they're going to indeed bring Dracula in. I do not think it should be Anthony Starr because he's just going to be playing Homelander with fangs. I would actually be against that. But I also think it should be really atmospheric, and I hope it doesn't have too much comedy. I get a little nervous after Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night started off so strong, like you were like, oh, there's something special here. And then it became so silly and ridiculous and so Marvel light that it was so disappointing. And I do not want to see that happen to Blade either. It was weird to watch something start so strong and end so weak. We'll talk about it when it drops next week. All right, so let's get to the second story of the day. Hey, Mario. All right, so second boop on this. HBO Max and Warner Brothers Discovery are being sued. Who is suing them? They're being sued by the Illinois Police Pension Board. Now, I'm sure you've seen this many a time whenever you watch anything about Wall Street. Police pension funds are very heavily invested in the stock market, and they have a lot of pull because they have a substantial amount of money to spend and therefore a lot of shares. Whenever you see, like on Billions, Axe would make a move by getting the police, NYPD police fund or the fire department fund to help out. So it's a pretty decent, group. So they have filed a lawsuit, and they're claiming that HBO Max, thank you, Jennifer, I'm glad you liked the Billions reference. They're claiming that HBO Max was exaggerated in the number of subscribers that it had, and it was off by 10 million. I feel that is a very, very loaded accusation. And I would say, did you just not read it properly? Because HBO was always upfront about combining their HBO and HBO Max subscriber numbers into one number and not giving us any information as to how it broke down. So were assumptions made? I mean, how misleading was it? Could the legal team for Warner Brothers Discovery point to the language they used and say, hey, we were pretty clear about what we were saying? Nicolas Cage is playing Dracula, but he's playing Dracula in a comedy called Renfield with Nicholas Hoult, which is, I think, maybe already shooting. So that coffin has closed. All right. So anyway, back to HBO Max. I don't really know if they did something. I don't know. This to me seems a little politically motivated against Hollywood and maybe just being upset with. I mean, it's funny to me. When I first reported that HBO Max was going to implode, some people, it was one of the biggest stories I ever broke. And then when David Zaslav came on the air for the investor call and he was like, everything's fine, I love HBO Max, a lot of people were like, oh, Grace, what the heck, nice try, Grace. But everything that I predicted and everything that I told you has come true. And now suddenly everybody hates HBO Max, which I think is hilarious because I told you this was happening. Remember, don't pay attention to what someone says, pay attention to what they do. So I think it's funny now that as soon as someone sues HBO Max, Warner Brothers Discovery, suddenly everybody's like, yeah, get him. But I think you have to be always very fair, and you have to say to yourself, is this really a legit lawsuit? They are also suing over how poorly run they feel the company is because the stock, oh, thank you, Nestor. Oh, that's so cute. I think they feel the company is very poorly run because the stock is going down significantly. And that, of course, hurts the police pension fund. But that's the stock market. You want to gamble, you want to roll the dice, be prepared that numbers you don't like are going to come up. I think that, quite frankly, I think the Illinois Police Department should just ride this out until they sell to Universal, and then they'll have Universal stock. So we'll see if this lawsuit actually goes forward. I think they got what they wanted. They got publicity. By filing the lawsuit. That's fine. But I would be surprised if the case moved forward, to be honest with you. A company's poorly run. You can't sue over that. I mean, you have to read it you have to read the stuff when you buy the stock. So I wouldn't put too much into this. I think the reason this got a lot of headlines yesterday was because everybody just has it out for HBO Max these days and Warner Brothers Discovery. The HBO Max numbers are not public. Warner Brothers, a long time ago, before they were purchased by Discovery, said, oh, here are our subscriber numbers for HBO and HBO Max. And at the time, I was like, you can't combine the numbers. I mean, now who knows what subscribed to who? And everybody just let it go. They were like, okay. I mean, I guess nobody had a choice, but nobody really called them on it. But yeah, nobody has any ability to demand any information when it comes to streaming, which is one of the reasons that Hollywood loves streaming so much, because it all happens behind an iron curtain. You have no idea what's going on back there, including you have no idea what's going on with viewership, which is why there's no back-end deals on that. It's craziness. All right, so that's the second story of the day. Now, the third story of the day, boom, baby. Speaking of streaming services, for some reason today, thank you, Nestor, thank you again. For some reason today, they decided to rebrand two streaming services as something else. So Epix is now MGM Plus, starting 2023. Who would want that? Does anyone have Epix? Apparently you can get it through Amazon, but it's not included in your Amazon Prime membership. Now, Viacom and Lionsgate helped found Epix with MGM, but they were bought out back in 2017. So I have no idea why they're keeping this around. It must just be because of contracts to the shows. Like there are shows that are still going on, so they're stuck with. I mean, the only thing that I really knew that was on Epix was Pennyworth, which is now on HBO Max. So MGM Plus is launching in early 2023. And then it was also announced today that Starz, but only overseas, in the United States and Canada, Starz will continue to be Starz. But if it's called Starz Play anywhere, it will now be called Lionsgate Plus. And they're even up front, they want to sell Lionsgate Plus. But I don't understand what this, I guess because they're getting ready to drop, what is that? Which service is the John Wick show going to be on? It's just ridiculous. It's too many streaming services. I have all the big streaming services and I feel I'm paying too much even now. I've got Netflix, I've got Disney Plus. I'm really nervous about the ad revenue. When's that going to kick in? How much is it going to cost me? I mean, I'm like, whenever that goes over. Yeah, Chad, Amazon Prime bought MGM. They did. So I've got Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Paramount Plus. This is nuts. It's way so much. I still haven't cut the cord yet, Brett. I like my cable. I'm nervous about getting rid of it. Oh yeah, and I have Hulu too. And Hulu. It's ridiculous. It's too many. So I don't know. There's been a couple of times that I've wanted to watch something on Starz, and I've been like, oh, it's on Starz. I guess I won't watch it. But yeah. So does anyone here have Epix or Starz? Anybody? Bueller. That's right, Dallas. It is a tax write-off because it's for work. Thank goodness. Yeah, Starz with a Z, Juan. Juan, you haven't even heard of it. James says, I have Starz because of a show called Hightown. Oh, that's good. Jason added Starz through Amazon. And Rodrigo says it's in Hulu in Mexico. That's interesting. Not Star on Disney Plus. Starz with a Z. So ridiculous. Oh, see, Mario? Starz Play for the Serpent Queen? It's going to be Lionsgate Plus. So crazy. All right. That was a very tiny third story. But I had to get a third story. All right. It is 2:43. Short stream today. It's 2:43. You can ask me anything you'd like until 2:53. Anything you'd like. 2:53. AJ Jones says, thoughts on Deadpool update, part Hugh that they released this morning. Yeah, it was fun, but there wasn't someone tweeted me and they were like, wake up, Grace, there's more, which I thought was so sweet, but there wasn't any more. They just, confirmed what I said, that, Logan takes place in the future, so it's fine. Lewis, yes, Nakia looks incredible in Wakanda Forever. I'm very excited about Wakanda Forever. I'm busy on Monday, so if the trailer drops on Monday, it will be horrible for me. But I hope you enjoy it, and I'll break it down and react to it on Tuesday, 24 freaking hours after it drops. But I just can't move what I'm doing on Monday. So I'm kind of annoyed about it, but maybe they won't drop a trailer. I'm sorry. I'm rooting against the trailer for Monday. I hope just tickets go on sale, because I think it's too early for a trailer, quite frankly. Hee hee. Jewel says, why did you consider Professor X as a mutant in the MCU? That's a good question, Jewel. I think because that was just a multiverse version of it. I guess you're talking about the one in Multiverse of Madness, right? Because he's not going to stick around. Danny, that fan cam that was made, I've only seen the one fan cam, and it's so nice, and I love it, and I've saved it for myself, so I can have it forever and ever, because it was such a nice thing to get. Chad, if it's on, why would anyone air anything on Sunday night when Game of Thrones is on? Oh, by the way, Black Adam tickets aren't even on sale yet, so Black Panther tickets are going to go on sale before Black Adam, which comes out 2 or 3 weeks earlier. That's nuts. Tyler Rod says, how much do you think it will cost for Peacock if they merge with HBO Max in the future? Streaming is getting more expensive than cable. I'm not sure what the price point would be. It would go up a little bit, but I mean, there's only so high that these things can go. And I think that's fine. Peacock isn't doing very well. So I think they'd be happily put all their content on HBO Max and rebrand it, and get the money from all the subscribers. I mean, look how much revenue Disney Plus and Netflix generate. I did see, Brett, the Amsterdam scores. They're so low. I was going to go and see it this evening for the press screening, but instead I'm going to go. I have a personal plan to go. And it's not a big movie, so I was like, usually when I go with friends and family, I've already seen the film, and it's less fun for them. I'm very paranoid, and I'm like, do you feel bad that I've already seen this? And so I feel bad about it. So I was like, I'll just see Amsterdam with them. And then I saw that RT score, and I was like, yikes. Jordan, you did not miss BTT movie night. It's because I have this big thing on Monday that I have to do. I'll try to do 2 in October to make up for it. But, you did not miss it. Lewis says, what do you think the She-Hulk episode will be tomorrow? I suspect it's either Frogman or we go back and see what Emil Blonsky is up to. I think those are probably our 2 options. Hey, Green Lantern's Light. I heard Daredevil was episode 8, as I told you. But they could have moved it around. But I think they'd be teasing it a lot harder if it was tomorrow. They'd be like, please watch the show tomorrow. There's some She-Hulk thing floating around where it's like the most watched show of all time. And I'm like, from some service I've never heard of. They're like, oh, look, this service says we're the most watched show ever. And so is Lord of the Rings, but for some reason House of the Dragon isn't on here. And I'm like, what is this? I'm just going to stick to Nielsen. Jason says, I feel like Kevin Feige has to be stretched way too thin. I feel like he's got to leave the Plus shows more in the hands of showrunners, and they have been having a lot of trouble with them. I don't think they really even have showrunners, Jason, which is unusual. I think that Kevin Feige is the only person who produces content at Marvel, which is very unusual. So I think that maybe it would benefit him but I don't, he's a bit of a control freak, and so am I, so I respect that. But I think at some point he's going to have to give a little control to somebody else because it's not working out. I mean, I'm a control freak, but I'm also a realist, and I'd be like, it's not going well. Nestor says, should Warner Brothers sell IPs like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings to make some profit back? Heck no. That's holding that whole studio up. Maybe Lord of the Rings to Amazon. I'd be like, Amazon, how much do you want to pay for this? But they should never sell Harry Potter. Never. Let's see here. Let's see here. 80s Model says, Grace, you've heard anything about Ms. Marvel Season 2 and if the rumors are true? I haven't heard anything about Ms. Marvel Season 2. So, I mean, I can't say whether or not these things are true or not, but I personally, from my sources, have not heard anything about it. Mario says, are you watching any shows that you haven't reviewed? Yes, I actually I forced myself to try The Patient last night because everybody I know has been telling me it's really good, and it is really good. So I'm enjoying that. I'm like, Donald Gleason, you're so talented. Danny O says, who would you cast as Matt Reeves as Harley Quinn? I like the Anya Taylor-Joy suggestion that some people have had. I think she would be really great in that. I think she'd be incredible, actually. I think she'd be absolutely incredible. She'd blow everybody else out of the water, even Lady Gaga. That's how good I think she would be in that role. Although I am a Lady Gaga fan. Antonio says, hi Grace, do you have any Blue Beetle tea movie? Because I'm a huge Cobra Kai fan. Well, so far, Antonio, I like your picture, by the way. You look great. So far, I haven't heard anything specifically about that movie, but it is moving ahead just fine. So I think you can be excited about it. Ian Laxus says, Brendan Fraser stand a chance at a Best Actor win for The Whale? I have not seen the film, but I think he will almost definitely be nominated. I don't know if he'll win. I think the role seems a little pandering to me, and I do have mixed feelings about him playing an obese gay character and not casting a gay actor in that role. It's a very murky area. Like there is an actor who recently made those commented on it and was very respectful, and I understood where that actor was coming from. Ivan says, thoughts on Hulk or She-Hulk rumored for Captain America New World Order? I started that rumor, Ivan, because it's true. That's how the scoop game works. I will break a story, and that's so nice of you, Antonio, and then it'll come back to me as a question, which I don't mind. I'm totally fine with it. But that's just the way it works, because people hear it somewhere else, and then it filters over, and I get asked about a story that I broke. And so I think it's very funny, but that just goes to show you how the scoop game works. You can't take it too seriously. Some people are very serious about the scoop game. It was awesome that it didn't leak about Hugh Jackman for Deadpool 3. Wasn't that great? I think not everything should leak. It's really tough because then someone else is going to leak it or something, but the fact that they were able to keep that from leaking, I'm very, just another feather for Ryan Reynolds' cap. Barbie Minaj says, who do you think is the frontrunner for Best Actress this year? Michelle Yeoh or Viola Davis? I think Michelle Yeoh. That movie has no problems, no controversy, and she's never won an Oscar. I think Viola Davis' performance was a little better, but, I think that it is what it is. You can't ignore the politics of Oscar. Writer Boy says, are you a fan of the older Queen of the Damned film with Aaliyah? Watch along, maybe. I think what happened to Aaliyah was quite tragic and so sad. But I have never seen that film. I don't know about a watch along. I'm interested as to why you would recommend that for a watch along. Does it pertain to anything that's going on right now? Stephen Turner says, I know you're excited for Jackman, but I am burnt out on Wolverine. I don't want MCU movies to focus all on Wolverine. We had that with Fox, and they're amazing female characters we need done properly. I think that if you have a great Wolverine, it will allow for those female characters to be done well. Everybody loves Wolverine for a reason. Everybody loves Wolverine in every medium. He sells movies, animation, comics. He's just a great character. But I would like to see, I thought the female characters in the X-Men movies were phenomenal. And I think that I would hope to see that going forward. X-Men has the best female characters. The best. It's not even a contest. Devin May says, hey Grace, haven't heard much coverage on Disney's Strange World. What's your take? How do you think it will perform compared to Encanto? I haven't had a chance to cover it because it always drops their content at really bad times. But I think that I think it's going to tank, to be honest with you. But we'll see. But I think it's really going to flop. It's not a musical. It's a sci-fi kind of concept. Although my family wants to go see it. I was like, what do you think of this? And then they saw the trailer and they were like, all right, let's go see it for Thanksgiving in theaters. And I was like, that's a good sign. But, I come from a movie-going family. We like going to the movies. And I'm surprised that for a lot of people, that desire is not there. They're like, I can wait. And I'm like, what? Dancing Dog 60 says, why do you think fans are so rabid for scoops? That's a great question. I think I think people are just so excited about this stuff that they, it's like knowing a secret. It's like, it's gossip, it's really cool gossip. And I think that the scoop game does help these properties. It's a really fine line. I think you want enough chatter that people are talking about your project, but not so much that they know every single thing that's going to happen. I'll tell you a little something about Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night was a tough watch because in the trailer, they basically showed you beat for beat what happens in the show. And all the really big moments. So you were like, but I saw it all in the trailer. So you were just kind of waiting for those things to happen instead of being surprised by something new to happen, quite frankly. Not to say it's totally devoid of surprises, but, it didn't really have a big surprise. Danny, I got to answer your birthday question. Any chance of Laura from Logan coming back with Hugh? I think unlikely. I mean, I would love that, but I think that Kevin Feige is probably like, whoa. I'm not opening the door for everybody. Like, for instance, I heard not Jessica Jones, but Punisher is coming instead. They swapped them out for each other. I'm not sure why. But I got to tell you, I think people will be more happy about that news. They'll be like, Punisher! That's exactly what they'll be like. Steven says, Michelle Yeoh or Viola Davis win Best Actress. They will only be the second woman of color to win lead after Halle Berry. I think they're both great choices. AKA Lance says, what do you think of fan casting of Keke Palmer as Rogue? I think she's like, she really has the Rogue persona. But I feel like I would prefer to find her a role that's more organic because I don't want her to have to deal with all that hate. Although I feel Keke Palmer could take it. William says, crazy question, Grace. If Little Mermaid took place in the Caribbean, wouldn't the discussion of slavery during that time period be an issue? It's a fantasy. You can't. I mean, it's like saying, should we talk about fascism in Italy? If it's because some people claim it takes place in Italy? Hey, ACF. I feel like these things only come out when people are against something. Like, it really frustrates me. It's like, that's why I made the comparison of Gone with the Wind to The Woman King. I'm like, why is everyone upset about this now, but was not having a problem with it on the other one? Michael, I do not like candy apples at all. I have no idea how to eat them. I don't think they taste very good. I'm not a candy apple fan. I like chocolate-covered caramel apples, though, quite a bit. That's right, Chad. You don't even want to open up the Pocahontas can of worms. Because that was like, wow. And she did not look 14 in that Disney animated movie. As a matter of fact, I think like Roy Disney Jr. was going around saying how sexy she was. And you're like, it's a cartoon character, Roy Disney. Let's see here. ACF, that's so kind of you. Thank you. Danny, Amber Heard is taking, understandably, a break. I'd be surprised if you ever heard from her again. I mean, she'll try. And you can't blame her. She's got a child. She's got to make money. Lewis, I don't know who's going to play Megara in Hercules live action. That's going to be tough to cast. Bye, Dr. Nichols. David Quevedo says, with fall upon us and winter coming, what is your favorite comfort unhealthy meal? I have a real sweet tooth for cookies. It's not good. I love cookies very much. I find that everybody has a special something that they love, like one snack category they can't overlook. And for me, I just really like cookies. Nestor says, can Gaga win an Oscar with Joker 2? I got to see more about it. Oh, Chad. Oh, yes. Oh, look, I love talking to you guys so much. All right, let me do some shout outs. What are you guys up to? That's right, Snivy Link. Those cookies, so sweet and delicious. I like soft baked cookies. None of these crispy cookies. But I like all cookies. Oh, Parker Worm, you're killing me. Devin says, watching My Hero Academia on my day off. Awesome. The one and only PMG says, any new info on Cavill's return, Grace? I hear he's in Los Angeles. I hear he's in Los Angeles. Probably he's cameoing it up. He's like, woo! I don't know why. I feel he's playing a very short game. I'm like, didn't Marvel was talking to you. And like, how are they going to hire you now that you're doing all these cameos over at Warner Brothers Discovery? I don't know why you would do that. Brett says, in Florida with Ian making landfall. Be careful, Brett. Writer Boy says, now I want cookies. That's right. That's how it starts. Oh, Britt says, just finished an interview. It always seems like they go worse than they do. I'm sure it went great. Chad is on Long Island today, having lunch in my car. Oh, excellent. You have a car, Chad? What kind? You're a very special kind of New Yorker. Danny says, excited about autumn in Chicago. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Today's the last warm day in New York City. That's why I'm cutting my day short today so I can enjoy the weather, because this is the last day it'll be in the 70s. Jordan, you got a new job. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Jander says, watching the rain pour in Rio while listening to this. Oh, that's so atmospheric. Somebody said at the beginning of the stream it was raining in Vegas, I saw. Let's see here. Jennifer says, cooking dinner with my sister. She's listening to the live stream too. Hello, Jennifer's sister. James is also in Chicago. Michael says, picking up a new car today. What? Oh, look at everybody in their mobility, able to go places. I don't have no car. I've got to rent a car. Because where would I park it? Where do you park your car, Chad? DM me. Let's see here. D says, beautiful day in Dallas. Finally eating lunch. Aw, that's awesome. Devin's also in Chicago. Chicago represent. TJ Williams, I was thinking of leasing a car, but I didn't do it. Because, it's the pandemic. Maybe I will. I'm so glad you're having a great birthday, Danny, and thank you for spending part of it with us. That's so nice of you. Matthew is waiting at the car mechanic. That's interesting. I like that. Oh, Ramses, I'm glad you had a good time. Heather S. says, watch The Serpent Queen. It rocks. Thank you for the recommendation. Dancing Dog 60 says, at the office in Boston. Wink to you too. Let's see here. Devin says, going to see Smile advanced screening in Atlanta. Oh, I hope you have a good time. That looks super creepy to me. I hope you enjoy it. It looks super scary. David Quevedo says, I work in auto insurance claims. We were preparing for all the claims we will be getting due to Hurricane Ian. Everyone keep safe. Yeah. I'm glad you work for a good insurance company that is going to pay through. AKA Lance says, I'm watching from Central Florida during Hurricane Ian. Stay safe, Lance. AICF, I watched the first. No, I didn't watch Reacher. But I do like that lead actor quite a bit. Jennifer says, enjoying the live stream. Nothing exciting at work. Happy to keep you entertained. Ramsey says, streams are so much fun. I hope everyone is having a great day. Much love to you all. You're a sweetheart, Ramses. Let's see here. I have not watched Do Revenge Story. Bye, Danny. And Lewis says, in the UK, waiting for The Woman King to release. It's worth it. You should be crying. It's amazing. I hope you get to see it soon. Good luck in the UK. You guys are having a horrible economic problem. And I'm afraid it's going to come over here. Best of luck to you. This planet, what a clunker. All right, everybody, but stay positive. It's just great to be here. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your day. Get ready for fall, and I hope everything's going well. Everybody stay safe, look after yourself, and I think that's an important thing to do. Stay positive. Stay positive. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.